Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric. So what I thought we'd do today is we've got a Cub Cadet Zero Turn, and I've done a video on trying to find the issues, earlier in the week. And we found out that one of the coils was weak, and we ended up ordering two brand new coils. And why two brand new coils if the only one is a problem? Because it never fails. If one is getting weak, good chances are the other's right there. And for what they cost, you're already in there to go ahead and put them on. So stay with us and we'll show you how we put them on, how we move the flywheel, how we use a business card on each one, and then the end result. And you'll even hear the difference in the engine from what it was earlier this week. So stay tuned. So here's the Cub Cadet that we had last week. And Claude's taken off the old coils so that we can install the new ones. It's not that big a job, just take your time. You can do everything with a 1/4 inch set. And I think they're 5/16 bolts that come out. But you got one on each side. And the differences between these and what we used to see before is you have the grounding plug on top, but now the way Cub Cadet is shutting off their engines is not by grounding the system, it's by using the fuel solenoid to shut the fuel off to the system. That was something that we learned this week. We hadn't seen that before. Maybe you guys have, especially Jason and Travis. Okay, so now he's got a brand new coil there and he's turning the flywheel, Claude is, to get the magnet right in line for where that coil is going to set in. And that's where you gap your coil with your flywheel, is on that magnet. Now we just have a standard business card, one of our own. You notice how he sticks it right in between the two and then snugs it right up tight to the flywheel. That's going to give you enough clearance to have that coil firing the best it'll ever fire. And one other thing I'll add is these coils, I bought them off eBay, and the two of them were less than the price of one if I went with one of our OEM companies, even our aftermarket companies. So what I found in the past is it's kind of a crapshoot. Some of the stuff you get lucky with, other stuff they send you and it won't work because it's not made for what you need. But these here looked really good and they're working so far. So he's got the first one knocked out. You see how fast he can go? You don't need to move at this speed. You can after practice, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He's done this hundreds of times. Well, last week with this engine, I ended up putting on spark testers. And the side that he's taking off right now was the good one. And we found the rat's nest in there too, mouse nest. And that's another reason to take the cover off your machine in the spring of the year before you start using it, is because mice do love building nests up in underneath the covers. And they will chew your wires. We actually had one customer that called us and said that the lawnmower was smoking and it was actually caught fire because of the nest up inside of it. Again, you're just going to repeat the process. You move the flywheel so that the magnet is right where the coil sits, He's got the business card in place. Sometimes you have to move some wires around, especially on this side of that engine, so that the coil wire is able to come out. The coil wire on these were a bit long, but I'd rather have it be a bit long than too short. But as you can see, it's not that big a process, guys. For you do-it-yourselfers, you should have no problem swapping coils, whether it be a single cylinder or a twin. And you don't want to over tighten these so that you snap the bolts. That's why I recommend quarter. Now just go ahead and put your spark plug wires on, because you can test this before you put all the cover back on. Claude's having a problem with the boot on the new one because it wasn't lining up to where it needed to be, so you can turn that boot. Now we should be able to try it without putting all that stuff on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right out, didn't he?
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, putting the coils on aren't that difficult. You got to just loosen up the screws to hold the case, the head part on it, the plastic. That'll lift right off, take the air filter out, and that'll pop right off. And it gives you full access to the coils. And spark testers are a blessing in disguise, because you can show if something is not running correctly. You can listen for it like the old timers did, but I like a secondary thing, and that is when I put my coil wire, my boots, spark testers, that how much it lights up. And you can get, numerous different kinds. I got one from Rotary, you can get one from Napa, Harbor Freight. This is what we use. We had one of these on both sides in the beginning. And the one that was the farthest over that we put on last today was the one that had a nice, beautiful glow. And I even took the spark testers, shut the mower off, and swapped spark testers to make sure it was not the spark tester that was doing it. Because they're cheaply made. They're from China and they do go, but they're like $5 a piece. So I swapped it to make sure. And sure enough, the glow stayed on the good side. But you didn't notice it too much until you went to mow. And that's where it needed the power. And it needed both those cylinders kicking on both horses. And the side that was not firing correctly was really dull and it was intermittent. It was getting enough to run it, but not enough to put power on it when you went to mow. So your lawnmower, or the one that you're repairing, may run and drive fine and sound kind of fine. But the minute you put it into grass or put it under load and you notice a big difference, that's when you need to check your coils. You should be checking them second. Compression first, and then spark. So on that note, you guys have a great day. And again, thanks so much for watching our videos and supporting what goes on here on the channel. All right.